What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over the news and kind of information we have so far about Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 3, which is going to be named Runners. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Comment down below what you think of these changes, and if you guys would like to use my code in the shop when getting anything or the Season 3 Battle Pass. It is EvolvedJake, just like my channel name is, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So I'm going to try to go over this without getting too much into event spoilers and kind of leaks. A lot of this information is going to be coming from teasers Fortnite themselves have posted. Like, they've posted 2 teaser trailers, and there's also been some art for the season, like the battle pass screen and loading screens as well. And typically in these pieces of art, the items the characters are holding are a part of the season in some way, but with the nature of Fortnite, not all of this content is guaranteed to be there on day one, because, you know, like, a lot of stuff comes out throughout the course of the season. So if, you know, the season releases and some of this isn't there right away, it could be coming later down the line. And like I said, I'm going to try not to get into too much like event stuff or kind of like storyline for the season, just, you know, straight actual gameplay changes. It's hard to talk about this stuff without event spoilers though, because Fortnite themselves posting these teasers before the event is kind of confusing to me, because you can kind of look at this stuff and kind of predict the way the event would go. So if you want to be completely surprised by the event and not have any, you know, preconceived notion of what's going to happen, you might not want to watch this video. So from what we know so far about Season 3, the sprites should play a pretty big role in the season. And these are going to be the sprite characters from Chapter 6. In the past, we had a few different sprites. There was one that you would throw down and it would kind of heal you. It would heal like a radius around it, kind of similar to a shield keg. There was one that gave you the ability to glide, similar to kind of like a launch pad. One that would take an item you would give it, and then it would give you high rarity loot in return. There was one that was essentially a laser weapon that you could just hold and shoot at enemies. And then finally, there was one that would give you dashes. You would throw the sprite down, and then you would get 3 dashes, like how when you go into the purple water on the current map, you would get, you know, those dashes, or the green water from Chapter 5. And it's kind of expected at the moment that there will be plenty of different sprites that give you kind of like different abilities or different benefits. In the teaser trailer that Fortnite posted, it says power up and then immediately cuts to a sprite and then shows several other sprites in that trailer later on. So I expect these sprites, like I said, to give you pretty impactful abilities and to actually be a pretty big part of the season, not just simply like heal you. I think they'll be more kind of similar to the dash sprite, where it does something for you or you get an ability from it, rather than just like, yeah, this heals you. We also know of several items that should be coming to the loot pool as well. Typically, a lot of items get vaulted going into a new season, especially items that were kind of there for the theme of the prior season. So think this season, a lot of the showdown rewards probably will get removed. A lot of the 7 items, like the 7 power gloves, probably will get removed because it was kind of a part of the Foundation versus Ice King theme, right? Also, any sort of collab items. Right now, we have the Overwatch collab in the game. That stuff should all be vaulted going into the new season. And as I said, typically the main mobility items change. So like the 7 power gloves, I would be very surprised if these are in the game next season. Not only are they kind of playing into the Foundation versus Ice King theme, but the main kind of like marquee mobility item for a season typically does change season to season. And then there likely will be several other weapons removed as well, because that's just kind of typically the shift with each season. Some things get taken out to make room for others. And we do know of some of the new items coming. There's going to be a new like kind of Chaos AR. It looks very similar to the Chaos Reloader shotgun, where it has like kind of the orange glow emanating from it, but it's going to be an assault rifle. I don't know if this is going to have the same effect of the Chaos Reloader shotgun, where it reloads on its own, or if it will have some different effect that maybe benefits an AR. That we don't really know, but I think kind of the most obvious guess is that it would probably work similar to the Chaos Reloader shotgun. There's going to be a triple barrel shotgun. This is a new shotgun that has 3 barrels on it. We don't really know much about it other than that. Based on the fact that it has 3 barrels, people expect it to just have 3 shells, kind of similar to the Gatekeeper, but maybe that could be completely wrong. There's also going to be some sort of new 7 boots mobility item. It has like clearly the 7 kind of theme design on these boots, and it's kind of expected at the moment that these would improve your slide in some way, because in the trailer when the character used it, it looked like they kind of benefited their slide, but maybe it gives you like a jump ability too. A lot of items kind of, especially mobility items, they have multiple different uses. So one example of something that we had that gave you an improved slide would be the medallion from Chapter 6, Season 4, the bug medallion that would make you like slide better. Maybe these boots do something similar to that, but maybe on a smaller scale. One thing I thought of as well is in the past we had Nitro where you could like sprint into enemies and bash them. Maybe this does some like improved slide kick damage as well or something along those lines, but we don't really know much about it other than it's boots. It's likely a mobility item, and it seems to have some sort of tie to the 7. There is also going to be some sort of new assault rifle that kind of in looks reminds me of the battle rifle from Halo. It's not like this is a direct collab item, but it will probably be some sort of new AR. And in the trailer, when they showed this, it kind of does sound like it was a burst weapon, but maybe that's just like random audio they used for the trailer, you know? We also do expect several items from Fortnite's past to be unvaulted. The sidearm pistol is one of those. This was in Chapter 3. And it is a kind of high damage headshot pistol. When you hit headshots with this thing, it like did a lot of damage, but it wasn't the most accurate all the time, and it was third person, and there was like red dot weapons in those seasons. So it was a really good weapon, but it was like more of like a really good underrated weapon rather than just being the meta. The Stinger SMG is expected to return. This is just a very defaulty SMG, like it's just really high fire rate spray SMG with good hipfire. The Flex SMG is expected to be returning because it was on one of the loading screens. We had this in Chapter 7, Season 1. And this is the SMG that, you know, had a higher damage when you aimed in, but a lower fire rate. And then when you hip fired, you know, it had a little bit less damage, but like a really fast fire rate. I really liked the Flex SMG, and I think a lot of people will be happy to see it return. The Ranger pistol from Chapter 5 is another weapon that is expected to return. And this will come with the suppressor and laser sight attachments. With the Chapter 5 weapons that we have had return, they basically reworked them into hit scan weapons. So like the Thunderburst SMG in the current season, that's from Chapter 5, right? But it was hit scan and you didn't have to mod it or anything. So this will come with the laser sight and the suppressor, and this will just be kind of standard full auto pistol, similar to the tactical pistol, but this season it's going to be suppressed. There likely will be many more kind of loot pool changes as well, especially throughout the course of the season. Map changes, we are expected to get a lot. Again, I don't want to get too much into event spoilers, but if you've seen the teaser trailers for the event, it looks like the map is going to be undergoing a lot of damage. And there's been past Fortnite events where the map got really messed up and then we got on the next day and like all that kind of went away. But it definitely seems like we will be getting at least 2 new biomes with this update, a tropical biome and some sort of autumn biome. And one thing that people do with kind of these images we get or brief gameplay examples of the map is they kind of like look in the background and compare either the terrain or mountains in the background or what's in the background to get a gauge for where that's going to be on the map. And it is currently expected that Dark Dominion and kind of the desert area, so like New Sanctuary and the Builders Barracks, those kind of regions are expected to change. So like the bottom right and the middle of the map. And then Sandy Strip should also have like some thematic changes as well. Don't want to get too far into spoilers, but it seems like Sandy Strip it's still going to be a POI, but it will probably be somewhat different and have like a new vibe to it. And that would kind of put it directly in the middle of these 2 new areas. You know, like Sandy is kind of in between Dark Dominion and the desert biome. So it's interesting that that POI is still going to be there, but be different, you know? And there likely will be many more map changes as well. Frigid Fortress is the Ice King POI, and it's not guaranteed it will completely leave, but it probably will be somewhat different next season because, again, Ice King kind of, you know, went hand in hand with this season's theme, and there likely will be several other map changes around the map as well. And like I said, the main areas that are expected to change is the kind of the middle Dark Dominion area and the desert. But that could be incorrect. That's just like a guess or like I would say more of like an educated guess people have based on comparing the backgrounds of these pictures. And then the final thing I'm going to talk about is for some reason they're adding a feature where you will be able to aim down sight while on the battle bus. And it was announced that they're adding this to Reload. And if they're adding it to Reload, it's likely will be coming to Battle Royale as well. And this is a feature that I don't see any use for at the moment, but maybe there will be things on the map that we need to look for while on the bus. So like an example of this would be so far in Chapter 7, the bosses have had several different locations where they can land, and then you kind of just got to go there and check it out, or maybe try to follow them when they jump off the bus last season. Maybe with this aim down sights from the bus feature, you'll be able to see where the bosses are or something like that if you like aim in and check their areas. Or maybe you're looking for different types of sprites or something new for the season. I'm not really sure, but for some reason you're going to be able to aim down sight on the bus. And that like I said, as a feature, doesn't make much sense to me unless there's something specific to the season that we would be looking for that made them want to add it. But that is going to be it so far with what we know about Season 3. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I tried to go over these changes as well as I could without completely spoiling the event, but like I said earlier, it's very bizarre to me that they've posted this much about the season because it does somewhat kind of spoil the event. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you found this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.